Okay, so Modern Warfare 2 has officially been out for 1 entire month, and I thought now would be the perfect time to finally make a sniping tips video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over everything that I know about sniping that I've learned throughout the years, how to utilize those skills in this game in specific, and also showing you guys the best settings to use on this game for sniping, as well as the best class setups. This is the first time I've ever done a video like this, and a bunch of people always ask me, whether it be in my YouTube comment sections or my Twitch streams, "Yo, Depv man, do you have any tips on how to snipe?" And this is going to be the exact video to watch to learn everything you need to know. I've given myself an entire month to play this game, learn everything about it, and I think I am comfortable enough with my settings and my sniping ability on this game to make this video. So let's get right into it. Okay, so I actually decided to hop into some custom games bots just to kind of show you guys everything that I'm going to be talking about today. Okay, so the first thing I want to go over today is the movement. So the movement in this game has changed a lot from Modern Warfare 2019, which was the previous title. This is the sequel to that. And in that game, the movement was very, very fluid. Unlike this one, they kind of toned it down a little bit, and they kind of made it to where aggressive playstyles aren't catered towards as much. They more kind of start to cater towards the slower playstyles. So I'm going to give you guys an example on how the movement has affected snipers in this game. So if you see right here, if I'm just sprinting forward and I'm aiming in and I'm sniping, you can see the aim down sight speed is pretty fast. Right? You get the idea. So they actually severely nerfed jump shotting in this game. So as you can see right now, my aim down sight speed is pretty quick, but if I go to jump and I aim in, you can see the difference. I just traded with that bot. You can see the difference in the speed on jumping and aiming in rather than just sprinting and aiming in. Oh, like you see how slow that is? So that's something you just got to keep in mind. Jumping in Call of Duty has just been a part of my playstyle for so many years, so I'm still learning. So you just got to have a little bit of discipline when it comes to that. Other than that, the movement in this game is pretty straightforward. Sliding in this game is almost pointless. I never slide in this game at all. I would say the only trick that I ever use in this game is just running with a secondary, whether it's a pistol or a knife. You get around the map a lot quicker. So if you just spawn right here, instead of running with your primary, I spawn and I just run out with my pistol, just so I can get around the map a little bit quicker, get to my enemies quicker, and ultimately drop more kills. Now, switching off of the topics of movement, we're going to be moving on to the next topic, which is centering. So I'm sure you guys have probably heard of the term centering. It's actually been used by snipers for such a long time, and it's also been used by Call of Duty pros. Basically, any type of player can use centering to their advantage. So to go ahead and explain centering, it's basically placing the enemy in the middle of your crosshairs, so by the time you aim in, you're centered right on their body. So if you guys want to pay attention to the center dot of my screen, I actually center my enemies before I aim in and I shoot. This makes it so you do very, very minimal adjusting by the time you aim in. Because if you're sniping in Call of Duty, specifically quickscoping, you want to make sure you're being as fast as possible. So you want to limit the amount of time that you're taking in your scope and get that bullet off. So one cool feature that I actually want to show you guys real quick, and it's brand new to this game. It's never been in any other Call of Duty before. At least you couldn't customize it the way you can in this game. It's actually this center dot. So you can actually toggle this feature on, and I actually didn't turn it on until today. And then you can also change the size of it. So if I put it on the largest right here, you guys will see that middle dot in my screen has gotten much bigger. Now this one, in my opinion, is a little too distracting. I think it's just too big, and I honestly just can't take my eyes off of it. I mean, unless that's something you really like, go ahead and just keep it on. But me personally, I just like to keep it on the default. It's nice, it's small, and I can still see it very well. So if you're really struggling with centering on this game, turn this setting on and just see if it helps you, because I'm sure it probably will. Okay, so the next thing I want to cover is actually one of the most important things you need to know, and that's spawn and map knowledge. Spawn and map knowledge is what's going to get your kills absolutely racked up. Knowing the ins and outs of these maps and knowing where enemies' main spawn points are and side spawn points is one of the best things you can learn. And this is honestly just good general Call of Duty knowledge. This doesn't even have to be used for just sniping. So I'm going to throw some clips up on screen that kind of give you an example on what I'm talking about. So at the beginning of a Call of Duty match, you see that you spawn with your teammates on one side of the map and the enemies spawn on the complete opposite side of the map. It's just like that at the start of the match, and it's like that basically for the rest of the game. So it's always good to pay attention where your teammates are on the radar, because where your teammates are, that means the enemies are going to be on the opposite side of that, or at least not where your teammates are. So if you don't have a UAV up, for example, example, or an advanced UAV up and you have no idea what the enemies are, a good general rule of thumb is to pay attention where your teammates are. Where your teammates are, your enemies will not be there. I mean, in this game, in some instances, it can be a little different because the spawns in this game are a little wonky, but just always keep that in mind. Also, make sure to pay attention what certain routes people like to run from. There's definitely high and low traffic areas on every single multiplayer map, so a lot of that knowledge honestly stems straight off of pure experience just playing the maps and paying attention to where enemies spawn. Okay, so the next thing I want to cover is sniping playstyles. Now, there's a bunch of different type of playstyles. Everybody has their own unique playstyle when it comes to sniping. For me personally, for the people that watch my videos, you guys know I'm an extremely aggressive sniper. I like to just run and gun with a sniper, try to be as fast as possible, get as many kills as possible. That's just how I've always been. But there are a lot of people that have a lot slower playstyles, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you gotta play slow to learn, and then you can always speed up your playstyle as you go on. Now, when it comes to sniping playstyles in this game, it can honestly depend on the sniper that you're using. So, for example, I am using the MCPR 300. This is one of the main sniper rifles in this game. This sniper is more on the heavy side. It's not so lightweight, just like the marksman rifles in this game. So the playstyle that I have to have with this sniper is a little bit slower than with the marksman rifles. But if you see me pull out a sniper like the SAB-50, you can see it is a lot quicker. You could be a lot more aggressive with a sniper rifle like this. This all just kind of comes down to preference, whether you like using the marksman rifles more, whether you like using the sniper rifles more. It is completely up to you. The marksman rifles do tend to hit marker a little bit more, as you just saw right there. I find much more satisfaction from using the snipers in the sniper rifle category itself, but that's just me. Hey, so my final conclusion on this, all I'm gonna say is that practice makes perfect. I know it's a very cliche answer, but I tell everybody that. I have over a decade of sniping experience, and let me tell you, if I was not sniping for as long as I have been, I would not be nearly as good as I am, and that's just a fact. Everybody learns at their own pace. Some people may pick it up very quickly, others maybe not so much, but that's perfectly fine. Just keep sniping away, keep practicing, and trust me, you will get better and you will see improvement. All right, so it's time for us to hop out of private match, and I'm going to show you guys the best settings to use for sniping, as well as class setups for every single sniper and marksman rifle in this game. All right, so boom, to start off on the sensitivity, I do play insane 20/20 sensitivity. I've always played max sensitivity ever since I first started sniping. For me, it's the most comfortable. It's what I enjoy using. I do not recommend to go straight up to 20. You can if you want to. It's always good to play on a higher sensitivity when you are sniping, just because you want to be a little bit faster, but there's absolutely no shame in playing on something like 6 sensitivity or even 7, especially if you're just starting off. But if you want to give yourself like somewhat of a challenge, you know, try between like 12 to 14, you know, and maybe make your way up to 20. But like I said, it's all preference. The field of view I do play on is 120. I want to have the max field of view on my screen. I want to see every little detail. I don't want to miss anything, so this is what I play on. Okay, so boom, hopping over to the button layout, I do play on tactical. I like to slide with my right analog stick instead of circle. I've been playing on tactical for so long. I do not play on flipped. I do shoot with my triggers still. We already went over the 20/20 sensitivity. I do play on 1.4 ADS multiplier. This basically changes the sensitivity while you're aiming down sight. So when I'm in my sniper scope, I like it to be a little bit faster than the default, which the default is 1. So I put this up to 1.40 to compensate for my 20/20 sensitivity. Mess around with it, see what you like. I didn't touch any of these, but moving down to the automatic tactical sprint, I do use. I like using it. It puts a lot less stress on my thumb from constantly tactical sprinting. It's a good thing to have on. I love it. So moving over to the advanced tab, my aim assist type is on default. A lot of people think I play on precision, but no, for Infinity Ward games, I like to keep it on default. Same for the aim response curve type. It's on standard, not on linear, not on dynamic, but this is also something that's up to preference. Just make sure to mess around with it and see what you like. Now, this setting right here is detrimental, at least in my opinion. So the default on this game, I think, is on gradual. I could be wrong, and maybe on instant. This makes it to where your aim down sight speed multiplier, which I mentioned earlier, which is this right here, this setting makes it so it kicks in after you're already zoomed in all the way. It's kind of hard to explain, but when you have this on gradual, while you're aiming in with your sniper, your aim down sight speed sensitivity will already start kicking in, and that's something you don't want. You want the aim down sight speed sensitivity to only kick in after you're fully zoomed in, so make sure you change it to this. I didn't change any of these settings. These are my dead zone settings right here. I only really mess with this if my controller ends up getting stick drift, which is basically just a worn out stick where your stick like starts moving on its own. This is the only time I ever increase this. If you want absolutely no delay on your analog sticks, if you don't have any problems with your analog sticks, make sure both of these are on 0. Then you want your left trigger and your right trigger dead zone all the way on 0. You want that instant response time. These are some of my movement settings. If you guys want to copy these, I'm not too sure how many of you guys really care about those, but there you go. Okay, so I didn't change anything else on the advanced tab. So moving over to the graphic settings, I'm just going to scroll through these just in case any of the PC homies out there. I do play PC on controller, so if you guys do want to copy these, if you're having some problems with either its frame issues or certain stutters or anything, if you guys want to copy these settings, see if it helps you out, go for it. I do not mind at all. Of course, that's what this video is for. And then on the view tab right here, my aim down sight speed field of view is on affected instead of independent. Then I also have the weapon field of view on wide. And then please make sure you turn down this first person and third person camera movement down to 50%. You 100% want the least amount of camera shake possible. And then finally on the interface tab, I do have the center dot on like I explained earlier. And then I have the center dot scale on default. Okay, and finally, here are the class setups for every single sniper in this game. I'm going to be going over some of the marksman rifles as well. So starting off with the MCPR, here is the class right here. And then for the tuning on the grip, I have my aim down sight speed maxed out. For the tuning on the stock, I have my aim down sight speed also maxed out. And then finally for the barrel, I have the aim down sight speed also maxed out. This same principle is going to apply for majority of the snipers and the marksman rifles in this game. So yeah. Moving on to the Victus XMR, here is my setup. And then here is the tuning for the grip, the tuning for the stock, no tuning on the scope actually. And here's the tuning for the barrel. Next up is the Signal 50. Here's the class setup. This is the tuning for the grip. This is the tuning for the stock. This is the tuning for the barrel. And this is the tuning for the underbarrel. Next up is the LAB 330. Here is the setup for it. This is the tuning on the comb. This is the tuning on the stock. And this is the tuning for the barrel. And finally, to end it off for the sniper rifles, we have the SPX 80. Here is the setup. This is the tuning for the grip. This is the tuning for the stock. And this is the tuning for the barrel. Now moving over to the marksman rifles, I'm only going to show you the SPR, the MK2, and the SAB50 because it's the only 3 marksman rifles that are really worth using that I would actually consider, I guess, snipers in a sense. So here is the setup for the SPR 208. This is the tuning on the comb. Here is the tuning on the stock. And I have no tuning on the scope. The only reason why I don't tune the scope on some of these snipers is because I don't want to have a ton of flinch. And when you do increase the aim down sight speed on these, you do get more flinch. Next up, we have the Lockwood MK2 carbine. Here is the setup for that. Here is the tuning on the comb, the tuning on the stock, and the tuning on the barrel. You can also throw whatever optic you want on this. There's a bunch of different sniper scopes to choose from. This goes for any other sniper in the game as well as the marksman rifles, so it's all your choice. And then finally, the very last one, the SAB50. Here is the setup for that. Here is the tuning for the grip and the tuning for the barrel. Alright, and that's going to do it for today's video, how to snipe on Modern Warfare 2. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was my first time ever making one of these, and I hope I did a great job. If I did, make sure you show me by dropping a like on this video. Also, if you learned anything new in this video, make sure you drop a like for that as well. And also, while you're here, make sure you guys drop a sub to the YouTube channel. It'll truly mean the world. Comment down below anything you guys want. Maybe throw out some other tips to any other newcomers that are coming around that want to learn how to snipe. If there's anything that I missed, let them know down below. All right, I'll see you guys in my next one. Deuces.